We want masculine men. You know, masculinity can be positive, especially when it's connected to virtue. You know,
welcome back to the channel. My name is Casey. I'm the Rumble Ride Dad, and today we are going to talk about the extreme dive in testosterone rates among men over the last 50 years. Let's get into it.
Faster a year than in the past. You can see here on this graphic testosterone levels in the United States back in 1960 versus in this was taken in 2015. It's actually continued to decline if you look at the new research. So you see these levels in men continue to drop off.
I've been a therapist for the last 13 years, and I've worked with men as a recovery coach in addiction medicine and addiction therapy, and I am concerned that one of the ways that men are declining so quickly is that their testosterone rates simply do not add up. What could be the cause, and how can we get our way out of it? And by the way, is testosterone even good at all? Let's look at what the evidence says.
Testosterone. Men with low testosterone levels had an 88% increase in a risk of death compared with those who had normal levels.
Testosterone rates have dropped an average of 1% every year since the 1980s, which means we are going at about 400 as the normal rate of nanograms, where it used to be 600, and you are considered to be normal even at a range of about 270 today, which means that men are simply reducing their testosterone rates every year on average, and this is a problem because testosterone, what makes us masculine, what makes us men, is a fundamental good. And if we're here to do anything on this channel, it is to defend the fundamental good that men need to be good men. And when you combine that masculinity with things like virtue and having values and having integrity, the world spins round.
Have the same level of testosterone as men in their late 60s back in the 2000s. So think about that. In just 20 years, our testosterone levels in men have gone so low that a lot of men today in their 20s have the testosterone levels of those over 60-year-old back.
What are the factors behind this potential crisis? Well, first, it is phthalates and other chemicals that are in our food or in the water supply, or even, birth control slipping into the water that we drink. And so those chemicals serve to reduce the testosterone rates among men, but also diet and obesity. Chemicals within the food aren't solely to blame. When you eat negatively, when you eat foods that are ultimately bad for us, that has a negative effect on crashing your testosterone, and it leads to less energy, which leads to less goal-directed activities that can increase your testosterone. So muscle mass will increase testosterone, but if you eat trash, you won't have the juice for the squeeze when you need it. Now, the third factor is sedentary lifestyle and chronic stress. In our internet era, in the front-facing camera phone era, testosterone rates continue to plummet because of global discouragement, men being put on the shelf, as well as the fact that we are not working the type of hard labor jobs that we used to that promote muscle mass and increase testosterone.
When you have lack of cellular energy, that's lack of purpose in your life. When you don't have a purpose, that decreases cellular energy.
Why this matters is because lower testosterone rates will lead to things like depression, reduced libido. So you can see the plummeting birth rate might have something to do with the plummeting testosterone rate. It will lead to infertility, loss of motivation, and lack of political assertiveness. Now, in 2020, the tyrants took their shot to try to give us chemicals that we had to take into our body, ways that we had to stay within our homes, as well as other political factors that I was frankly so discouraged. And part of the reason I started this channel was because I was so discouraged by the way that men didn't stand up and say, no, I am going to church no matter what you say. Very few actually did that. And it could be the result of our reduced testosterone, our unwillingness to fight when necessary, because we don't have the neurochemical capacity to do so.
Bravery, honor, respect, self-discipline, and combined with feminine virtues like nurture and empathy and kindness and grace and love, When those are combined together, it heals, it builds, it saves.
When we talk about a crisis in masculinity, it is not just psychological, it's physical. And the results have been soft beta men who are unwilling to fight for what's theirs and what's most important within society. And men are paying for it in their lives. There are ways that we can fight back, and that's the good news. Cut seed oils, lift heavy things, get outside, do things in nature, get 7 to 8 hours of sleep, avoid plastics when possible, and most of all, stop apologizing for being a man. It is up to us to reinstitute the testosterone necessary to fight when we need to fight so that we can do better, and our children ultimately will inherit a world that is better because men stood up. If you're ready to retake your health, your power, and your purpose, hit like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell. We will storm the gates of hell together. And this is a wake-up call. We have kids that are out here running around trying to learn what it is to be a man, and we have laid down our purpose and let the world, especially the internet world, demonstrate to them what manhood and masculinity really is. And in many ways, the political wranglings that have happened when women ask for men to be more soft and more sensitive, they got what they asked for because men generally will submit to whatever it takes to be available within the dating pool. And when women asked for that, the beta male, that's what they got. And now that they got it, they realize that that man won't even defend them if and when it became necessary. And that is a net negative for society. We can do this. We can do better together.